Hi everyone. Well, there's certainly some more unsettled weather coming up this week. In fact, really, it's been unsettled for the last few weeks with plenty of strong winds, even gales at times, and quite a bit of rain as well. But over the next 48 hours, things are going to deteriorate even further with some very strong winds on Wednesday, and gale force winds really, and it's going to be quite unpleasant. Although there are some hints of things changing much later on in the computer model runs, we are seeing some changes. So there are certainly some hints of some drier, warmer weather on the way, but we'll get to that in just a moment. But first of all, let's explain why we're seeing some really unsettled weather like we have been. So the jet stream, which is some very high altitude, high atmospheric winds that blow from west to east across the face of the Earth. Now, these run in more temperate zones, so between polar regions and tropical regions, and it happens in both the northern and southern hemisphere. The jet stream is generally weaker in the summer and stronger in the winter. So you can see down here in the southern hemisphere, you can see this very, very strong jet stream with these winds. Really, we're looking at 200 plus miles per hour up in the atmosphere, and you can see by these wind arrows that they blow just west to east, and but occasionally they kink northwards and southwards and meander up and down, but in general they are from west to east. Now across the UK here you can see that it's actually quite strong. Now this isn't that common at this time of year. It does happen, but it has been quite unpleasant due to this jet stream. Now the jet stream drives the weather in the lower parts of the atmosphere. So if you're underneath the jet stream, you're going to be seeing really, really unpleasant weather most of the time with wind and rain. Now if you're to the north, you generally see cool, fresh air. If you're to the south, you often see fairly dry weather, but at this time of year warm and sometimes even thundery weather. But at the moment, as I said before, the jet stream is running west to east. Now you can see the areas of high and low pressure here as well that have overlaid here, so we can run through it and you can see how the jet stream continues to affect us over the coming days. And even into Thursday into Friday, there's a little bit of a break. You can see here that the jet stream takes a little dive towards the south there, but then it pops back up towards us again. So as we move towards the weekend, it affects us once again. Although after this we start to see some changes. So even though the jet stream is out here in the Atlantic and it's heading back towards us, we start to see this area of high pressure down to the southwest, and that starts to push its way across us. Now with this area of high pressure we also see another change as well, and that's a change in temperature. So it does seem that if this area of high pressure develops as it looks like it may, we could well see some warmer weather starting to push our direction. But of course, the only problem with this, it is 8 to 10 days out, and really we can't rely on models too much at this distance. But there are certainly some hints across the board, really, across various models, computer models, that this could potentially happen. So we're feeling relatively confident that perhaps towards the 8th, 10th, 11th of August, things could start to settle down somewhat. So anyway, let's have a little look at the winds for the next few days. Now you can see for today, it's quite breezy or quite windy across the island. We've got winds pushing 35, maybe 40 miles per hour in a few places, but generally 30-35 mile per hour gusts. And as we move through tonight and into tomorrow, the winds get a little bit lighter. And then into tomorrow, not too bad. They're a bit gusty at times, maybe up to 30 miles per hour gusts in places, perhaps getting a little bit stronger here and there and during the afternoon. But tomorrow's not really a terrible day. But then as we move in towards Wednesday morning, we start to see some changes. So we start to see the stronger winds in the gusts 35-40 miles per hour heading across the island. Then as we move through the day, we see a spell of potentially really quite strong winds moving through the English Channel and of course affecting the island as well. So gusts 50 to 55 miles per hour in many places look likely, and that's enough actually for a weather warning to be issued by us. And this was actually an update from a weather watch that we put out a couple of days ago to say that there was going to be some there was a hint of some significant weather coming up, but that upgraded to a weather warning this morning because the winds certainly do look like pushing to up to around 60 miles per hour in places. Now, if this was winter time, we wouldn't be too concerned about 60 miles per hour. But at this time of year, really, winds gusting 45, 50 miles per hour can cause problems because there are a lot of temporary structures out and about. There are a lot more people out and about, and especially people visiting the beaches, even when the weather's poor. So it can be quite dangerous at times, especially around the coast, with the significant winds and the very, very large waves that will be affecting the island's coastline. In fact, there will be a little bit of a storm surge as well, and we are having spring tides this week on Wednesday. So yeah, the tides will be coming in quite high in a lot of places. So some fairly large waves out there. Another thing that we are looking at is the events this weekend. So this is our online weather warning here, and you can see, I don't know if you can read it on here, but you can see down here we're mentioning about built up areas could be a few problems. So what that is, when you have very strong winds, especially in built up areas with large buildings, the winds can actually get caught by the buildings. So it almost in a sense blows the winds downwards, down towards the base of each building, and that then whips up and meets with winds coming from different directions, so you get these little eddies and whirls of wind, which can cause some very, very strong gusts at street level that can quite literally blow people off their feet, even though the surrounding areas, you wouldn't see the winds quite as strong as that, and they'll be very, very localized as well. So this is the concern that we've got, because we do have Shanklin Carnival on Wednesday evening, and so we are slightly concerned this could be a problem, but of course I'm sure that will be looked at a bit closer to the time. And but yeah, so we do have this weather warning out anyway, and it does look quite nasty for Wednesday through the day and into the evening. So back to the wind map for the rest of Wednesday. You can see here Wednesday afternoon, very strong gusts, and they start to ease as we move in towards the evening gradually, coming down towards something in the region of 35 to 44, 45 miles per hour by 9 p.m, and then easing a lot overnight, and as the winds start to come round into a more west to northwesterly direction, which stays with us really for Thursday, and it's just a fresh breeze then. So we'll have a look at one last quick thing here, and that's the rainfall. So this is the showery outbreaks of rain that we've been having for today. And you can see that does actually finally clear later on this afternoon into the evening. And then as we move through tonight and into tomorrow, there could be the odd shower here and there. And then tomorrow morning, we still see the conditions much the same with the odd shower. And even into tomorrow afternoon, we see one or two mostly light showers, potentially affecting the island. But many places will be remaining dry. And then as we move through Tuesday night and into Wednesday, or tomorrow night into Wednesday, we can see this large area of rainfall coming across our area. So this is when it starts to turn a lot more unpleasant. And then the rain clears through Wednesday morning. But the thing is, behind that, we do see the risk of some showers, some of which may be heavy. Now, they could possibly be thundery, mostly towards areas to the north and east of the island here. Although the island itself could still see some pretty heavy downpours at times. And they last really right through Wednesday and into the evening, on and off of course, but then they start to clear away. So that Wednesday night and into Thursday morning, things start to settle down with just the odd shower here and there, and things start to look a little bit better. So there we are really, that's pretty much it for now. Of course, if there are any changes or significant changes, we will update you. But for now, it does look like the warning is standing as we are expecting it to, and things probably won't change now because it's getting pretty close to the time. And there are still certainly hints of some changes later on in 8 to 10 days' time, and that, of course, we will also let you know more about in the next few days. Goodbye for now.